Alright gang, here's the 1960 190 diesel over here on the left, and on the right, on my right, is the 1959 180 diesel. The 190 runs like it should. It smokes. It's sat for like 15 years. Could be 20. But the guy left fuel in it, and it probably varnished somewhat, but it protected everything, and you know, the thing fired right up, smokes. I got to do rings on it, but it runs and rides. You take a look here, and you can see here's your primer pump, and you know, here's your gas filter. Gas sits in there, and I believe you fill the oil for this compressor here. And there's your glow plugs. Excuse me, that's not your glow plugs, those are the injectors. Down here are the glow plugs. These are the injectors up here. So this one fires up and runs just like it should. Now let's take a look at the 180 diesel. This is a really neat old car. So let's take a look here. I've got everything for this. So now you'll see the compressor gas unit. This is on the other side, and I bought a new primer pump from Mercedes Source. Here is the old one. The old one was leaking fluid, so I thought, well, at least we'll have a better chance. Anyway, unscrew that guy, pump that, and you can see there's just a little fluid coming out of the side of that guy. So this guy here and this guy here, I've got the fluid to come out of there. I've got it to come out of here. I can't get anything here, and I cannot get any fluid here. Start the car and primer pump it, start the car, nothing. I can't get any fluid to even trickle out of here. So I'm not sure if this assembly and this assembly, this vacuum pump, I'm not sure if these are just worn out. This whole assembly, I'm not sure if this whole assembly is worn out, but I have fluid coming out of here. We'll just take a quick look here. Oh, there went the screwdriver. Hang on. So let's watch this now. I'm going to primer pump it. Can you see the fluid bleeding out of there? Yeah. But we'll tighten it back up. I cannot get any fluid to come out of here, nor can I get any fluid to come out of here. And that's after I turn the starter motor, turn the engine on, primer pump it, turn the engine on, primer pump it, turn the engine on, nothing. So I'm at a real loss. We have fuel in here, and fuel here, but that's it. So it's kind of a bummer. I cannot get this car to start, and I cannot get fuel to anywhere because I can't get the air leaks out of it. But this is not a high mileage car. I would guess it probably has maybe less than 50,000 miles on it when it was parked. So it's so damn dark you can't see, but I'm questioning if this unit here is worn out, and I'm questioning if this is worn out. Well, like I said, we've got nice spray here, and we got plenty of spray on the other one, but we have no spray here, even loosened, nothing, and no spray up there. But if you have any ideas, let me know. I don't know if you've looked this up on the internet, but there's almost nothing about these old Mercedes cars. Almost virtually nothing. Once I get this thing running, I'll do a really good YouTube and go through all my my learning curve challenges, so other people don't have to guess on how to do this. We got the rebuilt radiator, rebuilt gas tank. I've got new lines on this, new fuel lines, and just like almost all of these cars, usually these are robbed, these little radiators, and this one has the fan still, but the fan's missing on that side. There's your fuse box. There's your flasher relay. There is your little toaster that heats up when you go to start it. That's the voltage step down to the glow plugs from the ignition. Voltage step down, because you can't deliver a full 12 to 13, 14 volts to a glow plug. It'll destroy it. And there is the brake reservoir. I'm gonna have to redo the brakes on this thing. It's completely shot. And that is the fuel filter. We've inspected that. Generator. Down there, that monster is the starter motor. That's huge. Biggest starter motor I've ever encountered on a sedan. And there's our all linkages for shifting. If your car doesn't shift, it's usually a $4 bushing if it doesn't shift through the gears, so that's a cheap fix. And as you can see, the motor mounts here are toast. See that rubber motor mount down there? That is toast. They're always worn out on these cars. And there's my new primer pump from Mercedes Source. Highly recommend them if you're looking for parts. The guy knows everything. And then I use Star Motors back in Georgia, and Mercedes Source, and I use Niemöller in Germany, and Classic Center, Woody at the Classic Center in Irvine, California. And but there's really nothing to these cars, and all these weird little parts are on eBay. And there's some really great Facebook pages for these. I'm on a couple of them for these old diesel Benz cars. Highly recommend. You're going to learn a lot if you get on there. But I haven't gotten these guys to figure this out yet. What this is, I'm not sure. It looks like it has two sets of ways to get fuel to the glow plugs. You got these injector sprayers here. You got probably that over there. There's your glow plug lineup. And I mean, there's nothing to these things. I mean, if you've worked on modern cars and come back and work on these, there's absolutely nothing to them. But I can't get this one to work, and I'm thinking that whole assembly down there is failed, and I have to replace it or pull it apart and see why it doesn't work. And I use an Optima gel battery just to rule out all the shit that could fail on me. That's not a cheap battery. It's like 300 bucks. You could probably get a Bosche similar. That's an acid battery for about 150 in that ballpark. They're big, they're heavy, but they'll deliver the current, the heat needed to the glow plugs that you won't get in a regular battery. You could probably get by with a regular battery in a 190 diesel, unless you live in Minnesota or Alaska where it's freezing ass cold and it takes a lot of heat to heat up the glow plugs. Well, gang, there is the car, and your information that you could tell me would be very helpful. They're really neat old cars. You know, I'd rather work on Porsches, but these are fun. They're cheap and they're fun. I got two of them. Well, actually, I got three of them. This is the 59 180 diesel, and this is the 60 190 diesel. I'm sorry, this is a 180 diesel. And So there's those two guys. 190, 1960, 180, 1959. And here's that. This is also a 1959 190 diesel. I haven't done anything with this car. This one's actually for sale. I've got bumpers, all kinds of stuff for this. This one I'm using as a wasp sanctuary. The wasps happen to like this. But there's your 190 diesel compressor, like in the other one I just showed you. Look at that primer cap, isn't that? That's a plastic headed one. That's kind of weird. And there's a better shot of your shifting mechanism down in there, and your rear lamps wiring. And then here you can see somebody's robbed the heating mechanism and fan, that whole assembly on both sides, and they put this weird thing in here. So that's why you can see everything and work on everything, because somebody robbed all that stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if this ran. It just needs some work. They're just great cars. Lots of parts out there for them. But this one I'd probably sell. I got this one just because I got a mountain of parts with it. And all the insignia, all the lamps, all that stuff you can get on eBay. I got a starter motor to put in the 55 Porsche, and that's back on the road. And that's what I got. There's the two Benzes, 1959 and 1960 diesels. So if you have any ideas on how to get the fuel to start that 180 diesel, let me know. I need some ideas on how to bleed it. So I'll catch you on the next YouTube.